Okay, this is going to be the Algebra 2, Chapter 3 sample test. You should be able to get a copy from your teacher. These answers will also be posted on my School Fusion page. Make sure you go over your quizzes prior to taking the test. We're going to break this up into two videos. This is sort of a longer sample test. Okay, number one, it's g plus f of x. So what that means is I'm going to take the g function and add it to the f function. Okay, I'm combining like terms here. So here are my like terms. All right, so there's no x squared, negative x plus 4. All right, it's going to be positive 3x. And there's your answer. There's nothing to evaluate on that. Okay, very straightforward. All right, moving down, number 2, g times f of x. Okay, so g times f of x. So I got x squared minus x times 4x. Okay, you can do this in one of two ways. This is very simple, just simple multiplication of distributing. It's going to be 4x cubed, all right, minus 4x squared. You can just do a simple distribute. If this is a binomial, all right, you might want to think about doing the boxes, which we'll do in a little bit. All right, so that's the answer for 2. 3, f minus h. Okay, so f minus h. Okay, so that's 4x minus 2x minus 1. All right, so 4x minus 2x minus 1. Now, what the negative means is I can turn that around to a positive, and what I did is I changed the sign. Positive 2x to negative 2x, negative 1 to 1. Okay, that way when I combine like terms, it's easier to type in. Okay, I got 4 plus negative 2, which would be 2. All right, nothing with that one, that's going to be plus 1. All right, so there's going to be my answer on that one. Number 4, k of g of 1/2. Okay, now what you want to do here, all right, is you want to set this up. What I'm going to do is, since I'm going to evaluate of 1/2, all right, I'm going to go ahead and pull my calculator up, all right, and I'm going to program 1/2 into the calculator. So 1 divided by 2, okay, I'm going to use this arrow and x. So what that does is it sets the value for what I'm going to do there, all right. Now what I have is I've got k of g of 12, okay, so k is this, okay, plus 3, all right, and what I'm going to put in there, that's the function I lead with, I'm going to put x squared minus x, okay, so I put that in lieu of where x is. Now you got to be careful with your parentheses here, all right, when you type this in, all right, I'm doing square root, square root, all right, I'm going to put them in parentheses, all right, x squared minus x. Okay, that's that first group, plus 3. I got to close them, all right? That keeps everything underneath there, all right? And it gives me the answer of 1.65, okay? And that's the answer to that problem, okay? Very simple. All right, moving up to number 5. Okay, once again, this is g of f of 2, okay? So what I'm going to start with is the g function. I'm putting parentheses where I see where x is. I'm going to fill in f. Okay. Now, since I've got the 2 amount, I'm going to program 2 into the calculator. 2 is going to go in for x. So when I type this in, okay, all I got to do is 4x squared minus 4x. And since we programmed that amount in, we get the answer of 56 would be my answer here, okay? All right. Once again, on this one, it's g of f of g of 3. So I'm going to start with 4 space where I'm going to put g in there. That's x squared minus x. And I'm going to program in 3. So I'm not going to do the operation again there. I'm going to figure out the value. All right, so I programmed that in. Then 4x squared minus x. All right, enter. Gives me an answer of 24. Okay, so when you have the ones where you have to evaluate, that's probably the best course of action there. All right, moving up to this one, that's h of g of x, so I'm going to lead with h. The h function is going to be that. What I'm going to fill in is the g function. Okay, now, in this case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to distribute that. That's going to be 2x squared minus 2x minus 1. Nothing can combine there, so that is going to be my answer. Okay. moving down to this one, this is g of x, okay? If you want to write it this way, that's fine. So what it means is I'm going to lead with this. Okay, that's the g function. I've replaced all the x's. Now what I'm going to fill in is also g into each spot. Okay? So this is going to be a little bit more involved, all right? What I'm going to want to do here is I'm going to want to, this means x squared minus x times x squared minus x. I'm going to go ahead and make my boxes here for this. Okay? I got x squared negative x squared negative x. X squared times x squared would be x to the fourth. All I'm doing is adding the exponents. Negative x cubed, 1 and 2 is 3. Negative x cubed, okay? Negative x times negative x would be positive x squared. So what I have here is x to the fourth. That's negative 1 minus 1. Negative 1 minus 1, which is negative 2, plus x squared, all right? Now I'm going to subtract it from these terms here, okay? Now, all right? You can either use the subtraction or you could flip this around. And obviously I changed the sign here. Okay, and what I'm going to do is look for like terms. Well, the x squareds are alike. What 1 plus negative 1 will be 0, so basically that goes away. All right, that's just an x there. All right, so what I'm going to have here is I'm going to have x to the fourth minus 2x cubed plus x, that being my final answer. A lot of work on that one. Make sure you use your boxes. Okay, all right, the boxes will definitely help you in that case, okay? Let me move on to the next section. That was basically all the compositions, okay? This next section will be on finding inverses, okay? All right, on number 9, what I want to do is I would want to replace x and y, so I switch spots. Now I'm going to solve, okay, for y. All right, I cannot combine those terms. All right, and I want to divide by 4 each part. Okay, the inverse of this, that's going to be 1/4 x minus 5/4. Okay, and that would be your final answer. All right, moving down to number 10, I've cut it off. All right, that's going to be x squared. F of x is just a fancy symbol for y. So if you need to write that over, great. If not, you're just going to switch x and y. Okay. I'm going to solve, I get y by itself, so I'm going to subtract 1. And take the square root. All right, so it's going to be y equals plus or minus the square root of x minus 1. That'll be your answer for your inverse on that one. Okay, just like the other functions, I'm going to replace, this is going to be y, x minus 3 plus 4. I'm going to switch x and y. Okay. I want to get this y by itself. Now, what you have to think of is this square root here is like a shield protecting the negative 3. So I got to get rid of that first. But before I do that, I want to move that 4 over. Okay? I'm going to move that over through subtraction. Okay? So that's x minus 4 equals y minus 3 with the square root symbol. Now, to get rid of that square root, I'm going to square everything. So I'm just going to write that as x minus 4 squared equals y minus 3. Now to get that 3 over, I would add that 3. So I got x minus 4 squared plus 3 equals y. All right, I ran that over to that other problem, okay? But I ran out of room there. So it will be good enough just to write that for this case, okay? For number 12, all right, for number 12, once again, I'm going to replace x and y. Oops. Replace x and y. All right, I'm going to move this 5 first through subtraction. Okay, to get rid of this 2, I'm going to divide each part by 2. Okay, so what I got is 1/2 x minus 5/2 equals the square root of y. Okay, I'm going to square everything. It's good enough just to put those parentheses like that. So that's going to be 1/2 x minus 5/2 squared equals y. Would be the inverse there. Okay, all right. All right, now these are all going to be the log and exponential. So as you notice, our goal here was switching x and y first, then isolating y. Okay, to get rid of squareds, you take square roots. To get rid of square roots, you square them. Okay, pretty simple. Anything underneath the square root, you wait till the end to do that. Now logs, it's very similar. You're going to switch up x and y. Now, what I want to do is I want to isolate the log so that 3 is going to move over. Okay, so that's going to be x minus 3 equals the log of 7y. Now, when you create this into an exponential, this is the base. So when I go to make the exponential, the base is going to be 7. Now, a good rule of thumb from converting is whatever it equaled when it was a log cannot equal it anymore. So there's only two parts. Left. I have a y, x minus 3. So this has to equal y. And the x minus 3 is going to be the exponent. So you have y equals 7 to the x minus 3 would be your answer. Okay? All right. In this, now, you don't see a base there. In that case, the base is going to be the natural base, which is 10. Okay? So what I got here, this is already by itself, per se. So I'm going to create this into an exponential. That's going to be 10. Okay? It can no longer equal y. So it's 2y. All right? 2x minus 5. Okay? I'm sorry, wait, hold on. I missed a step there. All right? I'm going to switch my x and y. Okay? Now I'm going to convert. Now, just like I said before, you can't have this equal x anymore, so I'm going to have that equal 2y minus 5. X is now going to be the exponent there. Now I've got to isolate y, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to add 5 and then divide by 2. All right, I'm going to add 5 to this. Okay? I've run out of room, so I got 2y equals 10 to the x plus 5. And I'm going to divide the whole thing by 2, okay? So you can either make that 1/2 or 1/2 and or 1/2 10 to the x plus 5 halves or all over, okay? Moving down to number 15. I've really run out a lot of room here, so please forgive the messiness. All right, I'm going to switch x and y. Okay, all right, I'm going to convert. So it's going to be a log to the base 6. It's no longer going to equal x. It's going to equal y plus 1. The x is going to go next to the log. I'm going to move the 1 over here through subtraction. So what I got is log 6 to the x minus 1 will give you your final answer. Okay? Moving down to number 16, I'm going to replace x and y. I'm going to isolate, so I'm going to move that 7 over. Okay. Once again, I'm ready to convert. Can no longer equal x minus 7. The only thing left is y minus 2. Okay. X minus 7 is going to go next to the log of 3, so the base and base. Move the 2 over through addition. Okay, and so what I have is this answer. Okay. All right, I know that's a lot of blue there. All right, but basically a lot of the premises are the same. You're going to switch x and y. I'll start from the top here. You're going to switch x and y. All right, I did that. I isolated. Once you're isolating the log, you can then switch them. First thing you should set is the base. Base and base. Set that first. It makes it a lot easier. That means there's only 2 parts left. This and this. It can no longer equal x minus 3. So that x minus 3's got to go up into the exponent. This other y part moves over here. Okay, and you have your answer. All right. Moving down, see how much time I actually have. I'm actually running out of time, okay? So that's going to conclude the first video, and we'll finish the second half.